Chapter 4 got leaked just now in the version 22.40 update, revealing the live event, what's going to be happening in it and leading up to it, with the teased involvement of all 3 islands of Fortnite Chapter 1, 2 and 3, which got given away by a free reward we'll all get for attending the Chapter 3 finale Fracture event. And on top of that, we have our first early look of what's going to be happening after the event ends in itself, which is different from all prior seasons and chapters. In the prior video, I asked you guys to name this on screen right now, so here's a ton of comments on screen that got that right. Today, however, I want to know the name of this, so make sure to leave it down below in the comments, and if it receives a heart, you'll most likely be shown on screen in the very next video. So to see that as soon as it's uploaded, don't forget to leave a like in this video, subscribe to the channel with all notifications turned on so that you can be one of the first to see. And last but not least, before we hop into it all, huge shout out to everybody rocking code FM1 inside the Fortnite item shop, literally one of the shortest and easiest codes to enter, only 3 digits long. But with that said, now enough messing around, reality's about to end and you guys need to find out how, so make sure of course you don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm not, I'm sitting on my
Don't
back.
go anywhere.
First of all, diving straight into it, for those that didn't see it, the FNCS Invitational event, it's actually got revealed that Chapter 3 would be ending on December 3rd through this announcement right here, halfway through. Of course, straight after this, Fortnite tweeted out officially confirming that the event would be called Fracture and actually going down on December 3rd, 2022 at 4 PM ET. With this event being called Fracture, it's safe to say we're about to see a fracture in reality, which we're also going to be revealing an early look at just in a second. Just before we do that though, upon logging on today, you will see this lobby, which has large correlation to not only a mini live event that I'm about to showcase very shortly, but also at the same time happens to be the last lobby we're going to be seeing of Chapter 3, which honestly blows my mind. With that out of the way, let's dive onto the Fortnite Island to see all the new map changes and ultimately Chrome Watch. As you can see, it's finally not only made its way into Tilted Towers, but through it, almost connecting the initial spread from Herald's Sanctum where it seeped out of to the reality tree. Speaking of the reality tree too, it seems like Bush Ranger's doing his part of communicating, as he's a bushy-like creature, with the tree itself leaked through this loading screen. Without getting off track though, despite us initially expecting it to hit Greasy Grove and consume it as shown in the Battle Pass trailer, which it hasn't upon looking here today, could this mean the Battle Pass trailer at the start of Season 4 this season the entire time was teasing what's to come in the live event, with the chrome spreading across all of the Chapter 3 island or Artemis? Well, just before I confirm or deny that, so make sure, yeah, you don't go anywhere, you don't click off this video. Here is a very brief recap from Fortnite themselves in this article about what's been added into Battle Royale for the last time in Chapter 3 or version 22.40. Firstly, for those that don't remember, in 22.10, of course, this was added the Octane car into Fortnite, but not within the game, and apparently it's in the game now as I haven't hopped on yet, with them trying to reassure us that this car is actually balanced for these modes, both build and zero build of Battle Royale. Despite the obvious, you know, it has rocket boosters, supersonic speed, and the ability to jump, double jump, dodge, take flight, and drive on walls, with it giving us even more cover in a metallic structure of a vehicle. Perhaps the next item will help counteract this, or at least get away from it in the safest way possible. They followed up with glide to safety with the grapple glider. An enemy coming right at you, or even worse, an enemy coming right at you while they're in an Octane, make a swift getaway with the grapple glider, pull yourself into the air by aiming at a hard surface, then deploy your glide to land in safe territory. These are generally now in the normal loot pool and can be found, as you can see Fortnite stated, through chests, chrome chests, and supply drops. And then last but not least, what Fortnite were teasing last night with 39 others, as said in this particular tweet, jumping into Fortnite after the update, they've now added the 40v40 Big Battle limited time mode. Within this, if you haven't played, you're in a team of 40 facing another team of 40. Obviously, the match begins with the storm already circling the first zone, and you'll see uncommon rarity items already in your loadout. The result, the action starts right away in this fast-paced zero build LTM to help you defeat the other team even faster. The loot also that we pick up in this mode is of rare rarity or higher. Adding a big team mode, I'm guessing, is most fitting now for the end of Fortnite's Chapter 3 reality, as we're all going to have to team up on December 3rd to try and defeat the last reality. The proof for this, I know there's a lot of talk, well, I'll let Paradigm explain it to you through the brand new Paradise Quest voice notes.
Reality as you know it is going to end. I know that's hard to hear, but there's no changing it now. I have a plan. Stay close and be ready to follow my lead. The scientist's suspicions were correct. The 0 point has gone dormant. I need to wake it up, and I think I know how. I need everything the scientist had on the 0 point. And that man is a squirrel, alright? So he's got data stashed everywhere. I know it's hard to understand why we need to keep fighting, especially when we won't win. Ask Jones about the Loop Breaker project. He thinks it's confidential. It's not. I need you to find a way to send me that research. I know that's an impossible request, but there has to be someone who understands. Find them. Make sure you get Bushy a medal for this. Or some ornaments. We couldn't have done this without him. Without any of you. This should be everything I need. Stay alive. Pierce, hoping we see each other again. Paradigm, Over and out.
Hold up, so before the event starts we're already anticipating to lose. Bush Ranger's doing his part by communicating or talking to the reality tree as initially anticipated, and the Loop Breaker project? What? I'll explain all of this right now. Honestly, I didn't expect Paradigm, of all people who actually escaped the Chrome, to be admitting we're going to be meeting defeat. Obviously we knew we were going to be getting the new Chapter 4 island, codename Artemis, as this lines up with Greek mythology codenames of all the prior islands: Chapter 1 Athena, Chapter 2 Apollo, and Chapter 3 Artemis, with some cool context about the new map Asteria that Epic Games have been working on in the files. In Greek mythology, not only is this obviously one of the codenames that lines up, but also supposedly the mother of Apollo and Artemis, and they were born on her being well able to transform into an actual island herself. I know, that's crazy. What's even crazier, and speaking of codenames, which happens to be Radish for the Fracture event leading into Chapter 4 or Chapter 3's finale, is this potential free reward that not only Sheena tweeted about, but more interestingly from when Tiger Hyper tweeted it, it not only has the name and description of the cosmetic, but obviously both show a back bling, which potentially, yes, could be a free reward, but obviously shows the merging of 3 particular large areas of terrain from the 0 point, sucking them in. Many people believe for the Fracture event, considering the file size for it is absolutely huge, that we're going to be seeing all 3 islands merged into one within the 0 point, or all sucked in at the same time from all realities. Even more interestingly though, the name of this cosmetic, the Zero Fragment, well, this has been what we've been looking for inside the Marvel universe from the Fortnite characters entering it in Fortnite x Marvel Zero War. Despite this initially being, as described from the description of the comics, the tide-turning factor in the war between the Imagined Order and the Seven, let's just say from the curveball thrown at us with the last reality completely taking over a Fortnite island again, we may need to team up with the Imagined Order and settle our differences to try and well stop this reality from ending, if not everything, so that nothing remains. This is set to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Fortnite live events we've ever seen so far, with them only innovating even bigger and better each time, as we can tell from the Collision live event. Despite us being outside of the loop for the first time and actually re-entering it from the Ice Moon that the Mecha Team Leader was constructed on, don't forget how we got here from the lobby being linked and us having a cool animation directly going onto it. As you can see, what's been leaked today now from FMBR Intel, this is what's going to not only be a lobby animation close to the event starting, with Chrome kind of basically consuming everything in the background, but as you can see, he followed up with a full look at what happens when your squad joins the upcoming Fracture event, and includes a custom background with animations that we'd previously seen. Of course, the only thing missing off of here, and here's a blown up version of it or more HD look at it, is actually the event timer, which according to the same data miner FNBR Intel hasn't actually changed at all, as you can see on screen right now from this particular tweet. If I haven't shown it already, he also kindly sent me a reward screen of what the Zero Fragment backbling will look like on the day of the event, which we'll actually all be able to wear, every single player attending, as we'll get it on the day of the event. And as you guys know, after the event happens in itself, we will go straight into downtime, which, as you can see, Hypex stated, don't take this as confirmation, but there seems to be a storyline related mode that will play from the lobby, possibly during Chapter 4's downtime. Of course, instead of this being what we saw at the end of Chapter 2 was simply washing up more so onto the Chapter 3 island until downtime lifted, and the event cinematic led off directly from this to establish the direction of this brand new chapter, with a cutscene involving the Foundation briefing us all. And before we move on to the final and most interesting part of the video, involving the return of Midas that we thought was initially dead, as Hypex states in this tweet, what chapter had the best end map in your opinion? Whilst you're letting me know down below in the comments, let's now move on to the final thing, the return of Midas, and how it's been inevitable for him to try and save this reality, or been preparing us for this moment since Chapter 2. On screen right now, Echo describes it perfectly. In the Paradise quest, Paradigm wants Jones to tell her about the top secret Loop Breaker project, and they discuss a lot about the Storm's connection to the 0 point. Then follows up with, we do know a Loop Breaker, and so does Jones, obviously with screenshots of Midas before the device live event of Chapter 2 Season 2, which, yes, was a Loop Breaker project, a semi-successful one of that if his goal or intention was actually to flood the island, as he did leading into Chapter 3 Season 3 after the device live event in itself. Furthermore, interestingly, in the version 22.30 update, don't forget they teased the return of Midas again through this cosmetic being gold and silver, obviously showing his hand actually being consumed by Chrome instead of doing the consume in, that we all know his Midas touch is capable, or literally does, as shown also in the Agent Room cutscene for him. On top of the fact too, to confirm the fact he wasn't dead, as I haven't given this context yet, Donald Mustard stated the following just before the Chapter 2 end event or finale. So is this a coincidence?
Midas is great. and not dead.
Drop a like in the video if you're attending or excited for the Chapter 4 finale or Fracture event of Chapter 3. Subscribe with all notifications turned on for more videos like this as soon as Intel pours out. But speaking of other videos, make sure to interact with this I picked out for you specifically on screen. Most importantly, however, hopefully I can catch you in the very next upload I do post on the channel.